All right. What's going on, guys? I'm recording this in my car because there are people in the gym and, I don't want to disturb anyone's workout or, just general peace. But this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about what's been going on the last couple weeks. I got sick towards the end of week 1, so I actually skipped my primary bench, which, if you know me, I hate to skip a workout. Hate to skip any kind of training session. It's been a while, really, since I actually just completely didn't do a specific workout, especially one that was given to me by a coach. But sometimes when you're sick, that's what you have to do. You have to prioritize your health, and your recovery. If you go in when you're feeling really unwell and you try to hammer some kind of hard workout, you might just make yourself more sick. You can prolong that recovery time. You might end up being sick for a lot longer than you would have if you had just taken an extra day off. So feeling better. Did week 2, and obviously I posted last week a little bit of some of my lifts from week 1 and week 2. Obviously I didn't do the primary bench for week 1, but primary bench for week 2 went well. So this week, nothing crazy. Week 3, but building up to 600-pound deadlift week 4. I know I've already mentioned it, but I'm excited. And I kind of just wanted to talk a little bit about another experience that I've had last week. I talked about my 600-pound squat, and once I do the 600-pound deadlift, I'm sure I'll do another video where I kind of talk about my thoughts on that and how that feels. Sorry, there's a guy someone was driving, looks like they maybe were gonna hit my car. So a few people have told me they liked the last video, and they liked kind of hearing me talk about my thoughts for the 600-pound squat. So I just kind of wanted to talk about a meet that I did last year, Collegiate Nationals, and my thoughts on that, kind of the psychology, or what I was going through psychologically at that time. Before CNATs, a few months before, I was feeling pretty confident that I was going to qualify. And at the time, the qualification standards were not quite as high as they are now. I believe it was a 408 dots for my weight class. It was 600 kilo total at 181. So if you're exactly 181 with a 600 kilo total, it was around 408 dots, I think. But at that point I'd never hit a 400 plus dots in a meet. I'd only done 2 meets, but this is in reference to before I had qualified, right? So there was definitely a little bit of nerves, but a couple months out I was feeling really confident. And then I had a very minor tweak. I believe it was my psoas. I get muscle tightness occasionally, especially in my hip flexors, which I think is related to my track background. I also have hamstring issues. I've had, during my running career, I had a lot of hamstring problems, and it still kind of bleeds into my training now. But yeah, my psoas was bothering me as it got down to the last couple months before the qualifying meet that I was going to do, Collegiate States, Florida Collegiate States. And suddenly I was feeling less confident. You know, I was a little bit afraid. Like, what if I don't make it? Like, what if I don't make it? And my goal was to qualify, you know, before I graduated. And at that point, I was thinking, you know, it was my sophomore year. I was gonna have, or sorry, was it my sophomore year? It was the start of my junior year. So I thought that I would have another shot to qualify if I didn't make it this time, right? It was the fall of my junior year. The meet, CNATS, was going to be the spring of my junior year. And so, you know, I was going to maybe have another shot at qualifying, but then I realized that I had an opportunity to graduate early. So then that meant that the timetable was, you know, 1 year less than I had originally thought. So it was kind of now or never. You know, I have to qualify for CNATS at this meet, you know, this year, or, you know, I maybe won't ever get to go, you know, unless I did grad school. And at the time, I didn't know if I was going to pursue a postgraduate degree. So, you know, we went into the meet, me and my coach, and, you know, cut down from about 190 to 181. I weighed in, actually weighed in light. The weigh-in process, you know, I don't know what was going on with the meet organizers, but we ended up not weighing in until almost 10 minutes before we started lifting. So I weighed in 179, I think, and that kind of can mess with your head a little bit if you're used to coming in like right at weight, and then like you have complications with the weigh-ins, and you come in, you know, a few pounds lighter than you anticipate. Like you're thinking about that, you know, you're aware of that. Someone like myself, you know, I'm a little bit neurotic, and that kind of was like, oh my gosh, you know, 179 really should have been like 181, just not for the sake of dots, just for the sake of myself and like feeling good. But, you know, recomp went fine. I didn't feel sick or anything. But I was definitely more nervous. You know, I went through my lifts. I wasn't feeling 100% confident, but we were setting up to hit, you know, 605 initially. Squat didn't go so well. So then it was, okay, let's just set up for 600 exactly. And then bench didn't go quite as I had hoped either. I went 3 for 3 on bench, but it was not the numbers I was hoping for. And deadlifts, you know, is my weak link for sure. I'm definitely more of a subtotal guy. At the time, I think that I had squatted 500 in the gym, but I had deadlifted 500 in the gym maybe a couple times, whereas squatted, you know, maybe twice as many times as I had deadlifted 500. So to hit a 600 kg total, I needed to deadlift, I believe it was 523 pounds, which would have been a PR. It was more than I'd ever hit before. You know, I took my opener, felt good. Took my second, and I was thinking, you know, it's gonna be a bit of a grind to get 523. But, you know, I said, we gotta load it. You know, it's that or don't get to go to CNATS. So we load 523, 524, whatever it is. And, you know, I put my hands on the bar. I start pulling, and it felt like it took forever. But, you know, I locked it out. I wait for the ref to give the down commands. I set it down, and I look back at the board, and, you know, I don't see any white lights. I don't see any red lights, but I don't see any white lights. And the announcer goes, "Oh, come on, you already know you got it." And I'm sitting there thinking, like, I don't know. At this point, I can feel I'm about to cry. The fear of not knowing was almost too much. And then, I see 3 white lights show up on the screen, and I just started sobbing. I almost didn't make it to the back. I was crying so hard. And, it's like talking about a moment like hitting a 600-pound squat, making everything worth it, everything that you do, the sacrifices, whether or not you see them as sacrifices. Like, a lot of these things to me don't really feel like a sacrifice. It just is, it's just how I've always been. But some of these things, going to bed early or waking up early and trying to get in enough calories, eating when you're stuffed just to try to, push the body weight, stuff like that. Like that 600-pound squat that I hit in the gym, like that was definitely one of those moments where it's like, okay, this is why. But really and truly, hitting that deadlift and qualifying for, a national level meet, nothing tops that. There's no experience that gets you a better high than that. I think that a lot of people, like I said with the 600-pound squat, a lot of people kind of defeat themselves before they can get to a point like that. And the qualifying total, like I said, wasn't all that, wasn't the most impressive thing. But how many people do that? How many people have a chance to say that they went to a national level meet? It's just something else. And the actual meet itself was incredible. Maybe I'll talk about that in the next week's video. But that feeling of hitting the total, the euphoria was on the next level. Nothing can compare to how incredible that feeling is. And I think that too many people give up before they can really experience, the fruits of their labors. And so I have a hard time feeling too bad. I get it. I was a runner for 5 years, and I gave up on running, even though I put a lot of energy into it, and I was in love with it. But it does still make me feel a little bit sad when I see people quit, before they really get to a point where they start to reap the rewards of all their efforts. If you put in all this energy for, a year, even 6 months, you put all this energy in for 6 months, you train 5 or 6 days a week, every week, you track your calories and your macros, you skip parties, whatever, and then, you just give up. It's rough. You might have been this close. When I hit that total, when I hit that 600 kg total that earned me a spot at CNATS, that was 1 year of powerlifting. It was about 6 years of lifting, but 1 year of competitive, serious powerlifting. And a lot of people can do that. It's not impossible. And then when you get there, then you've got another goal that you can push for. You know, okay, you made it to Collegiate Nationals. Now junior. Okay, junior, open. Alright, so my phone overheated and stopped recording in the car, so I'll try to wrap this up. As I was saying, you can always have another goal. The only time that you get to a point where you can't continue to have another goal is when you quit. And, maybe you get injured, maybe it's so bad that you can't come back, maybe you lose love for whatever it is that you're doing. But if you're watching this, my point is, when you don't give up, when you keep going, great things happen. Compare yourself to someone else. All right, yeah, maybe you're never going to be that guy who sets a world record in XYZ, but you'll beat yourself. You'll push yourself to a point where maybe you thought you'd never go. Maybe you will make it. Maybe you will set a world record. Maybe you will be the best ever at what you're doing. You never know until you try. So, yeah, my message is, don't give up. Keep going, keep pushing, keep trying to be better, keep at it, just keep going. Even if it sucks, even if you feel like you're not making progress, if you feel like you're going to get hurt, if you feel like pushing too hard, pull back. If you feel like you're not making progress, analyze the situation, figure out what the problem is. Is it your sleep? Is it recovery in general? Is it your training, your diet, your lifestyle, whatever? Keep pushing. Don't give up. Like, this stuff, it's worth it. Anyway, see you guys next week. I'll add some training clips in here. Yeah, take care.